Sandy Hook Elementary, the theater in Aurora, Colorado, Virginia Tech, UC Santa Barbara, and Marysville, Washington. This is just to name a few. My condolences go out to the families affected by these crimes. Mass shootings have seemed to become some type of sick trend in America. There have been over 20 mass shootings in the U.S. since Obama has been in office. Some have called for gun control. Some call for people control, stronger background checks, and mental history. I do believe that we need stronger background checks. However, today I want to talk about the media. Many say that guns in the media are the reason for the spike in mass shootings. I must say I agree, but not in the way that you think. Now, you may or may not know that I was a cameraman and editor for an ABC affiliate in Louisiana. And because of the FCC or our news director, there were certain things that we couldn't show on television, and suicides were on that list of things. If a man jumped off a bridge, he hung himself or poisoned himself, and etc., we couldn't show that story on TV because it was considered free advertising. For example, if I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that there have been several suicides involving the Brooklyn Bridge and the Golden Gate Bridge. I've heard rumors just over the years, and so imagine if there's a person sitting at home contemplating suicide and thinking he's unsure on how to commit his suicide, and all of a sudden that person is watching the news and he sees a report of a man jumping off the bridge. Now that person has what they consider the perfect way to commit his or her suicide. And that person also thinks, oh, there's a perk. My story will be shown on the evening news. Now, in some cases, suicides are allowed to be reported on the news. Like if the person was famous and he committed suicide, or perhaps if someone who was trying to save someone else from committing suicide and they both kind of fall over the rail of a bridge or something like that. So if you're still not convinced, if you're old enough, you may remember a time when carbon monoxide poisoning wasn't really heard of. It wasn't something that most of us knew about. And because of the media, we all know that it just takes a hose and a running car to put oneself to certain death. I intentionally left out the details because I don't want to advertise any ways to commit suicide. So what's my point? I say that we should stop showing mass shootings on the evening news. That may sound preposterous, but I think so. And this is why. Some maniac could be at home, for example, right now, asking himself the best way to commit suicide and be remembered, to go out, well, I don't want to say that, but yeah, just to commit suicide and be remembered. And all of a sudden the evening news has just become the best commercial speaking to this maniac and that maniac's cause. If we remove the glory, we may possibly remove the motive. And am I saying that we should not be informed of a mass shooting? No, I am not. We have the right to know when and where it is to be safe. If a gunman is at a mall, and we should be informed to stay away from that area, or worse, if we, unfortunately, if we have a loved one at the mall, we most definitely need to be informed. Now, there's a way of going about this. We could utilize the emergency broadcast system to inform everyone in the area of the location and the incident and what to do. For the local and national news stations, in the case of breaking news, you can report the story with a graphic only. Don't do live shots. Don't interview the witnesses. make sure not to do any photos of the shooter unless that shooter is still at large or hasn't been captured or unfortunately shot. Do not state the type of guns or weapons that were used by the shooter. That could be free advertising for someone who wants to buy a gun. Only report the when, the where, the who, and the outcome. In the unfortunate event, if there are casualties and at the family's discretion, I think we should show the victims' photos. I think it would be disrespectful to do otherwise. It is very unfortunate, for lack of better words, that there are people out there who want to hurt others. And perhaps this could be the first step into the right direction. A nonverbal way of letting the perpetrator know that they are not heroes and they will not get special recognition for committing such crimes. Believe it or not, I do pray for those who want to hurt others, because they themselves have been hurt and no one heard their cries. I pray for someone who sees them. I pray that someone does see them and see the signs, and gets to that person and gets them help before it's too late. Well, that's my belief. What's yours?